Big day today, everyone. Actually, the big day was yesterday because we're going to be launching this video one day after the launch. So you guys already know what is going to be in this package right here. But what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. This video is going to be a lot, I think mainly a lot of talking. We'll probably get out and shoot these just a little bit. Just kind of talk about the evolution of this, why we did this, how we came up with the idea, and where kind of we're going forward beyond this. But we'll open these up. This is a brand new one. I told them, I've been messing around with them, obviously, have had them, but I told them I want one exactly how the consumer is going to get it. So we'll unveil this UV 1K arrows. It's very exciting. Probably a left curveball for some of you guys coming from UltraView. But we build premium archery products, and that's our mission and that's our goal. So this is our stab at arrows. Of course, on the box, this is also going to be a very dealer heavy product. That's why we have the box, we have the hanger tag, and they stand up. You'll see them. Shields is a really good partner of ours. They'll be in Shields, they'll be in Lancaster, they'll be all over the place. So if you see them, obviously check them out. But that's why the box is a little bit different too than standard UltraView, because we got to make sure that it works well for the dealers. But we're going to open this up. Oh, they did break the seal on me. Gosh dang, I told them not to do that. Oh well. Okay, here we go. Oh, they didn't fully break the seal. We got to cut this over here. They just got the front ones to cut for me. The little barcode. The new UltraView 1K arrows, pre-fletched, pre-cut, pre-done to your specs. This is the very first premium, high-quality controlled arrow, direct to consumer from the dealer, ready to shoot, knock it, ready to go. I know we've done a lot of arrow stuff in the past. I mean, especially on the channel. Me personally, we've dove into arrows. We've tried to get our knowledge base as big as possible, and this is a collaboration with Victory Archery and Steve over at Victory. We've had a pretty good relationship over the years, but like I've stated in my videos, I've never had a relationship with an arrow company ever. After all these years and everything that's going on, I've never had an actual relationship other than, you know, nothing contractual with an arrow company. But Victory, they wanted to work on a special project. And they came to me and they're like, Chris, how can we do something special? And that is right around the same time that UltraView was thinking about doing something like this. And I probably still remember the conversation, but I was like, Cole, we might have something interesting up our sleeves for this one. And that's how the UV1K was born, designed by UltraView, but built by Victory. In this process, Victory has had, you know, we talked to Steve, we called him just to kind of give a rundown of like, hey, I know this project's been crazy, but like, how do you see it? What do you see? And he's like, man, we've learned so much. Victory gained a bunch of skill sets by making these as the best of their ability, the highest tolerances. And what's really special about this, I guess now we'll dive into some of these specs. These UltraView arrows are 100% proprietary. There's no other arrow on it in the market. You cannot use other front components or some other things. The knock is different, but other components are other things. It's a 4.5 millimeter diameter arrow. So we have 4 millimeters, we have 5 millimeters, we have 6 millimeters. We've talked about it, we make videos and everything, but this is a 4.5 millimeter. So we've had the flexibility with Victory to be able to be like, hey guys, we want to do something that's never been done before, 4.5 millimeter. And on top of that, this carbon, it's so trippy to even look at because it's so tight. This is a 1,000th weave that Victory is only allowed to use due to patents and everything else. No one else is allowed to get this carbon. So why the 1,000th is incredibly important, and maybe by this point you've seen some other videos because this is the day after and they've explained it, but I'll explain it again. The recovery rate is incredible. It's incredibly straight. In the manufacturing process, it's so straight we don't even have enough to offer a 004 or an 003 or an 00 whatever. They are all 001s. The manufacturing process is absolutely incredible, and it's due to this higher quality carbon. When I built, or not when I built these, when I got these, tuned them, shot them with broadheads, the flight has been incredible. We just got back from Australia, so we had to tune some big fixed blades, and I literally had zero complaints. And talking to Colby and talking to other people, it's like it's very hard to tell when everything's tuned up and you're shooting good. It's very hard to tell what's good equipment, but it's very easy to tell what is bad equipment. And you pick these up, and I just shot incredibly well, and I'm like, man, it's like, I don't know what it is, but it's got to be these adding to it. Shooting incredibly well with fixed blades, standard shooting, everything tuned super well. So 4.5 millimeter, 1/1000th weave. On the front end components, since it is a 4.5 millimeter, these are proprietary to us. We had to make these for this shaft. They do not work on anything else. It's a 75 grain outsert, insert outsert. It's very similar to Victory's, how that's very strong. Stainless steel core, aluminum outsert, or aluminum outer shell. So incredibly strong, 75 grains. And on top of that, UltraView made their own field tips that have a little tiny O-ring on the inside of that. So rattling tips are no longer a thing. It's a very snug O-ring that fits in there, especially since these are left helical, which is more than half of people should be shooting, but are shooting left helical. So obviously when you got left helical, it's constantly like unturning things. I very rarely, maybe even I can say never, have had one of these rattle loose because of that O-ring. So now let's get up to the fun part. These fletchings are proprietary to UltraView. UltraView designed and are making these vanes. It's injection molded, so it's not ribbon stamped. It's not some of these other companies how they do it. It's injection molded, so we were able to get very, very, very custom with this. If you look very closely, you can see all these little nice little contours. You can see indents. You can see logos. You can see all of these little details to make this a very, very high quality vane. Sticks incredibly well. There's like no blems in the vanes because of the manufacturing process. It was expensive for sure, but it's that higher quality vane that we're super, super pumped about. And it's right in the median vane. Like, this is a good all-around vane. Will work really well for fixed blades, work really well for mechanicals, work really well just for shooting in general, target shooting, and they're really quiet. They're actually really, really quiet. The wraps, everything comes with the wraps, and this is actually, give credit to Bruce, Zach Harris, for coming up with this idea. It was very skeptical at first because it's very different. But this design is not only looks cool, but it also has purpose. So you know how wraps, whenever you wrap around your arrow, there's a slight little overlap. Technically, with that slight little overlap, there is more weight on one side of the arrow than the other. So just like any other wraps, we have a slight overlap on the vane, but to counteract that, we have a little bit more material because of the design on the other side. So it actually cancels out, it balances the arrow better, which is a cool little touch, and they look really cool. So 2-degree left helical on all of these with the wrap. Going up, we have a tiny little bushing that necks down to a 4 millimeter knock. Now, super good knock. We've had zero issues with it. On top of that, we have tested a lot of Halo 4 millimeter Nocks. I know even me personally, 4 millimeter Nocks are not historically super, super strong, but we work pretty tight with Halo to ensure that they are really good. So I'll be running Halo Nocks now. I've ran Nocturnal 5 millimeters and kind of strayed away from Nocturnal 4 millimeters because I've heard horror stories, but Halo has done a great job for 4 millimeter for their integrity. And honestly, it's a little bit easier to use than the Nocturnal. So those have been working super, super well. And working down, I guess we can talk about some specs, but I don't have those memorized. So what I'm going to do is do this. 250 spine is a 10.0 GPI. 300 spine is a 8.7 GPI. and 350 spine is at 8 GPI, 8.0 GPI. So this is our ideal arrow. I've been talking about this for so long. You do not want to be on one end of the spectrum or the other, especially if you're just elk hunting, whitetail hunting, anything in, you know, just basic North America. Granted, I wanted to push the limits. 455 grain arrow on my water buffalo just in Australia. Perfect shot, buried up to the fletchings, poking out the other side, and it punched right through one of their giant ribs. So I don't know, we're gonna have a bunch of comment ninja warriors down there, but this is, I'm gonna kill anything ever with this arrow. If when you build it out, kind of depending on your spine, but this arrow for me is 27 or 27 and a half. I forget what these are. 300 spine. I'm right at 450, 460 grains. I think it's 455 is technically what it is. So ideal. That is my ideal system. Obviously, if you bump to a 250 spine, you'll be in the high 400s. If you bump down to a 3 or a 350 spine, you'll be in the low 400s. And the biggest thing about this is we wanted to make sure that buying these arrows, selecting these arrows was as seamless as possible. So on UltraView's website, we've made a very rigorous buying, what would you call it? Selector tool, arrow selector tool, that's what it is. A very rigorous arrow selector tool. You punch in your advertised bow speed, you punch in your weight that you're shooting, you punch in your draw length. It'll spit out our recommended length, which is essentially whatever your draw length is. You're like on your mod, it says 27 inches or 28 inches or 29 inches, you punch in 29 inches. And if you are, you know, 70 pounds, 29 inches, it's gonna say you need a 300 spine arrow cut to 28 inches. We recommend shaving off 1 inch of what your advertised draw length is, and that's your arrow. We also ensure within these 6 arrows is a half grain tolerance, so the pre-built quality control is absolutely insane. And then, you know, let's say I get 6 or I get a dozen. Next year comes around, I broke a few, I shot a couple things. I'm like, man, I want another, you know, some more arrows because I'm down to, let's say, 8 arrows. You can go on the website, you can reorder, and a box will show up like this, cut to 27 inches. You can pull it out, knock it on your bow, and keep shooting like nothing even happened. So the days of worrying about doing all that stuff are, you know, less of a pain. So we've really tried to make things easier. It's the UltraView way. Our old slogan used to be archery easier. I still really am a big fan of that because we really do try to make archery easier, but we're really just trying to make everything easier for you guys as a consumer, as a premium archery, because you guys deserve it. I'm super pumped about these. These are my personal ones I've been shooting. Sent me a bunch, but I broke a couple of them in Australia shooting water buffalo, and those things are pretty gnarly. That video will be coming out very soon, which is a lot of fun, a good trip. We shot quite a few things to kind of test these out. We've been shooting them a long time, but it's so tough to hunt actually in the summer. But yeah, did I miss anything? I'm trying to think here. It's been a fun project. It's been a really fun project working with Victory. It's been a fun project putting this together. It was very different. We had to learn a lot about this, but man, it is just something that there's a whole, and there's a lot of pre-fletched stuff, but the buying experience is always very difficult. It's like, well, what do I actually need? And we experienced that when we did our small batch drops on B-Roll Custom. It's like, man, what are our pain points that we can try to solve here? And a lot of times it's, what do I actually buy? What do I actually get? So we try to really explain that, make the buying experience easier, and make less of a headache for the consumer. So we're going to take these bad boys out. I'll actually weigh them, so I give you guys a straight answer on that. But that is them. I guess, well, before we do that, you know, obviously my weapon or arrow of choice up until this point, and it's still a really good arrow, I mean, nothing wrong with it, is the RIP TKO. So it's a 5mm. I must have been doing something with this one because it says test. But big fan still, big fan of the X3 vein. I really like the X3 vein, so it's a similar profile. It's a similar profile to the AE stealth vein. It's just a good mid, it's just a really good mid vein. the new UV one. And you can only get these vanes, I will say that, on these arrows. We're not going to sell them separately. We're kind of going to be very selective on this. And me personally, of course, we'll still have all of our other stuff because there are many fishes in the sea and many arrows in the world that, you know, doing other things other places. So we'll go outside, we'll shoot a little bit. I've been shooting these for, I mean, we've had oh, I guess I can find, hold on, let me find prototypes. Maybe. I don't know where they're. We've had several prototypes. We've been shooting them for a long time, kind of all spring long, and this conversation's been going on for, I don't know. It's been a fun project, I'll just say that. It's been very exciting. Me personally, I've learned a lot, and you guys might have noticed even from the videos that we kind of went down some arrow rabbit holes, and this is why. Sometimes we're very subtle about things, and we try to show things throughout our content leading up to it. But this was a big project, and we're very thankful that it finally made it to the finish line. So we'll go outside and shoot, and I'll show you like what the great thing is let's see here. I can grab like, let's say 2 of my old arrows, and there's nothing wrong with going like this, mixing them all together and just throwing them in the batch, because they're all the same. They're absolutely all the same, and I'm pumped about that because as much as I love customizing arrows and everything, I really don't enjoy, you know, fletching a bunch of them. So I'll be able to be like, hey, Colby, can I have another 6 because I broke all of them because I suck. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll grab a couple more of these. I don't have any field tips on those. I'm just all rattled. Okay, so let's go outside. We'll shoot these a little bit and check them out. .41, 4.5 millimeter. You know, it's so funny that we have all these new things, and it's so funny the reaction and see what people think is like the coolest or whatever. But there's a lot of cool things in this arrow. Like I first time shooting them, I was like, man, I was like, kind of. You're always skeptical all the way up until you actually shoot it and try it, 4.5 millimeter and stuff like that. I honestly cannot say enough good things about it, though. Okay, we're going to shoot the elk. 40-some yards. Well, the bow's still good from Australia getting bumped around. That's nice. Ooh! Slapping arrows on there. Nice. Let's go check them out. Nice little group down there. All new UV1Ks, UV 1000th weave, 4.5 millimeter, is available pretty much everywhere as of yesterday and today. So super fun project. a lot of work in the making to get these to you guys. So we're super excited where this new endeavor is going to go. I'm super pumped about it. I'm going to be using these all fall. And we got a bunch more content to you guys soon with these arrows. Australia, buff hunt, some more fun stuff coming out maybe tomorrow. And just a lot more stuff as we get a little bit closer to fall. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Catch you guys in the next one.